I said, never shot one. He said, have you got a gun? I said, well, I've got one under the bed. In them days, you say, I got the old duck buster under the bed for burglars.
Did you compete at bodybuilding, or did you just... ask about that. How did you lose your eye?
Right, hi everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Tweedl Pod. Another new surrounding, Rob, very much EJ Churchill orientated this podcast. We are at the Swinton estate.
At the shooting school.
At the shooting school.
Yeah.
And we're joined by...
warm here.
It is very warm, yeah, a bit different to previous one.
Previous editions.
We've just thawed out, we've got the log burner out. Coffee's here. We have a very special guest today. One of the legends in shooting by a long stretch. A legend of YouTube on shooting. And the one I wonder, Mr. Dave Carrie.
Well, let's call it legend first, not legend.
Legend.
True legends, Arnold Schwarzenegger and
Mr. Dave Carrie.
Tyson's and stuff like that. They're the legends.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
And your George Digweeds, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Dave, great to have you on.
Yeah, fantastic, mate.
How you doing, mate? All right?
All right, mate. Hey, nice to see you again, Rob.
Nice
I
to see you.
ain't seen you since last year, since we were at Birdsall.
I know,
Yeah.
Well, you won again.
Yeah, well, you let us win again. Yeah.
Just, mate.
It's not a bad team, though, is it?
No, it's a hell of a
Me,
team.
Mark Windsor.
Sean Bramley.
All Kev Joblin.
And Neil Ramsey.
Yeah. And listen, well done, Kev Joblin.
I know.
Winning the
Veterans.
Veterans Fist House.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Local man.
Brilliant shot.
He is a good shot, yeah.
Very funny man. We've had some great times together. Yeah. It's nice to see the old ones still shooting better than some of the young ones.
I know.
Yeah.
But I'm afraid I'm getting too old. My eyes are getting worn out.
No, that's not true, is it? I got a feeling you won something the other day, didn't you? A competition.
I had a bit of luck.
Yeah, he won a competition.
What did you win, Dave?
Well, I shot 91. It only won in the 90s.
Yeah. He won an outright registered the other day over everybody.
First time for a year.
Life in the old dog.
In fact, I shot equal high score at North of England the week after. I think I shot two high scores within 2 or 3 weeks, really. So I thought, well, it's going back. And then I came back here on a nice sunny day.
Yeah.
I got to fourth stand and didn't even see two of them, so I went home. I thought I'm going to give somebody 4 or 5 stars here. I never even pulled the trigger. And that, I think as you get older, you've got to. I was speaking to Martin Dowd. He's got a really bad back at the minute, as Martin. I've gone through that, And I think we've got to look at things a little bit differently as you get older. Targets are more difficult to see. And one thing that you can enjoy into getting to old age, as long as you keep quite, pretty fit enough, is game shooting. Because they're always up there in the sky.
Yeah.
And as I said, the pheasant is 4 or 5 times bigger than a clay, isn't he? So you can still see him, So I think you can be more active on game shooting later on in life than you can on plays. As I said, I do overrate some of these course setters sometimes, but I think, well, my eyes, is it getting, too, it's getting too weak now as we get older. We can't see them as good, can we? And I think that's
it's just life, mate.
You've got your secret weapon, haven't you?
I have, yeah. Oh, Kids always ask me, how do you shoot those high birds, Mr. Carrie? And I said, well, when I go on the high bird shoots, I put my
bionic eye.
Terminator bionic eye. That's what I'd use, For all you youngsters out there.
Wondering if it's photoshopped.
Listen, unfortunately, you can't be like me because I only have one eye. But when I go on these eye bird shoots, I fit this one in, and then you see them coming.
Elon Musk made it for him.
Yes.
Sam does something similar with his eyes. He closes both, don't you, when you shoot? Like you're hoping it's going to work.
It's constantly terrorising me on this podcast, Rob.
But I think as we get older, we've got to start looking at not getting too upset. When you go clay shooting, if you have a good day, if you have a good seeing day, and you can see them, then you've got to capitalise on it. And
let's come back to you, and you're going on like you have the odd glory day. I mean, you've been a phenomenal shot in your day, haven't you? I mean, we'll come back to a little bit how you all started, but competition wise, I mean, you shot for Great Britain.
Well, I didn't start clay shooting I was 40. I think it was 1994
right.
When I started.
So how did that come about then?
It was another typical story. I mean, I didn't know nothing about clay shooting. I worked down the mines, worked in factories and one thing and another until I started on my own and did quite well in business, particularly the scrap business. And I bought a little scrapyard where we live now. Old chap called Charlie Martin who was retiring. Did the deal, bought him out, got moved over there. And one of his contracts was he used to buy a lot of vehicles out of the breweries in Tadcaster, which we're only 6 miles from Tadcaster.
Yeah.
And I bought a load of Merc vans. That was my first deal I had when I bought Charlie out independently. And I bought 3 or 4 of these Merc vans. And one of his old customers who used to buy them off him, Jack, I can't remember his second name now. He used to buy the vehicles off him. Anyway, he called in and said, I know you've bought Charlie out. Can I still? I said, yeah, no problems. I've got 2 or 3 here. Unbeknown to me, he was a shooting man as well, and he came with his driver. He dropped his driver off to take one of these vans home where I'd sold him, and we were just casually talking. So I said, do you fancy a shot? I said, shot what at? He said, clays. I said, what's one of them? Never. We'd know. I mean, farmers probably shoot them when we were kids, but we never heard of a clay pigeon. You know what it was. And I said, I've never shot one. I said, have you got a gun? I said, I've got one under bed. I said, go and get it. I came out with, in them days, you say, I got the old duck buster under bed for burglars. And old Spanish hammer gun.
What did we say about this podcast, Rob?
Bring it, he said, bring
Incriminated
it. So, anyway,
himself.
I finished up, north of England was the first place I'd ever been to with showing clay pigeons. And anyway, I think I had about 13 or 14 shots with this outside beside, and it just seized up altogether. It wouldn't open, it wouldn't shut. So this Jack who took me there said, not to worry, I've got my lad's gun in the car, which was a miracle. The old miracle. The old miracle, the old 3800.
Yeah, 3800.
It's the best gun ever made. I still shoot one.
And I've never used. I've sort of not used. I've not used anything ever since apart from them. Anyway, he fetched this old his lad's gun out and I shot this thing. And I was stood on that lineup with a pair of old tracky bottoms with pockets full of things. With me pulling the pockets full of cartridges. With my tracky bottom nearly around my ankles every time I weight them and pulling them up, you see. So I'm stood there nearly in my underpants shooting these clays.
Won't be the first.
Which were down the line.
Won't be the first time that you've done that, can I just say?
Which were down the line, I didn't know anything else. I didn't know anything else existed. I thought, this is all right. Anyway, I shot at 18 and 19, and of course these old boys, they used to meet up every Wednesday. This particular day was a Wednesday. And you've shot well there. Of course, they'd only shot like 19s or 21s, and these were experts, experts in the pub, you see. Yeah. So anyway, I sort of got the bug. I thought, this is all right. And I thought, with my little bit of a checkered history, sort of thing, and falling out with police years ago, I thought, well, I'll never get a licence, me. So I never applied for one, So it sort of held me back a bit, So, but I used to borrow guns. And you won't believe, Mister. I don't know if we ought to go into this really. Because it's bordering on. Well,
if you want to incriminate yourself, carry on.
Why don't we talk about it? Charlie can always edit it.
I'm not going to incriminate myself any further, but I used to turn up at shoots,
borrow a gun,
and use other people's guns.
Yeah, and they'd stand with you.
Because I didn't
That's
think
not
at
legal.
the time that I'd get. I don't think it is illegal, no. But obviously, the law is if you're with somebody that's a license, a permit holder.
Yeah, you're fine.
You can still shoot.
You can, as long as they're with you, looking after you.
Yeah. So as I say,
but I don't know about the gun under the bed, by the way. I don't think that.
Yeah, the old duck busters.
The old duck busting.
That's not so legal, like. But
it won't mine. I borrowed it. Anyway,
off a man from the pub.
It doesn't matter. So
anyway.
as far as PC plot's concerned, I put it straight in the chopper when I got it froze up. Anyway, I chopped it up under my shear and put it in the scrap, and that were it. So that's a true story.
Go on.
But I'm glad you. I think you're right. As long as people go with their a permit holder, you can quite happily shoot.
Yeah,
You're fine. You're
You
fine.
know,
It's
you,
fine.
you just can't own a gun.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to have a permit, of course. Anyway, I thought I've got the bug for this. It's brilliant. This, you know, within 2 or 3 months, I was shooting 100 straight down the line.
You're
stuff,
joking.
You know. Gosh,
So
look,
from-
I were in double A within 3 or 4 months.
So from never shooting before,
Yeah.
3 months later, you're shooting 100 straight
100
down the
straight.
line.
Then I got bored with that, so I went on to ABT.
That's unbelievable, isn't it?
This is true. I went on to ABT then because I got bored with this. I thought it's too easy. This, so I said, "You want to try this ABT?" And I said, "What's that?" Anyway, they got another set of other end thing. So I thought this is a bit quicker. The birds are all over the place. Well, this is true. This. Phil Thompson, he'll tell you himself.
Yeah.
He were buttoning for me when him and his dad were buttoning. His dad come to watch me shoot. I shot 150 straight at this ABT. I thought I missed a bird. I thought these are too easy, these things, you know. And that's
What,
the
on your
trouble.
first effort?
Not my first effort, but within 2 or 3 months, I shot 150 straight.
Wow.
Before I missed a bird. And then I let go who owns Redbeck, David Baines, who owns Redbeck Farm Shop, who's a gun dealer anyway.
Yeah.
Out at Blue, I just got to know, I was getting to know all shooting people then, you see. You still ain't got a licence, you know, still ain't got a permit, still borrowing guns here. And I'd got to know David Baines and we'd become quite good friends. And he said, it's the Scottish ABT Championship at, what they call it?
Bywell.
Bywell.
Yeah.
Bywell. And he said, do you fancy it? Well, I said, what's my chance of? Well, I went to this ABT show and I won it. The Scottish Open.
And you've been shooting how long
6
at this
months.
point? 6 months.
Maybe nearly 12 months then, you
Yeah.
know. So I thought, got bored with that, thought, what else is there? And then I kept hearing little tales about sporting shooters, Tony Bove, Martin Doughty, and, you know, these were the top sporting
Yeah, they
shooters.
were, yeah.
You know, the
Smoker Smith.
Well, yeah, Smoker Smith. Of course, there were a 50 birder then. I was still a regular, every Wednesday and Saturday then at the north of England. I never went anywhere else, you know, and I didn't know anywhere else existed, sort of thing. I was just getting to, you know, feeling my feet. And then I kept hearing about this. Oh, you want to be going doing these sporting shows? What's that? Anyway, for a 50 bird run, which I did do now and again at North England. I happened to be there that day and I shot it. And such as Tony Bove and Martin Doughty, they were the top shots at the moment in our area, you know, in North of England. Tony Bove, former England shot anyway and won the England sporting show.
Yeah.
And of course, they were like heroes to me then, you see. But I shot a 35 out of 50. So, well, that's not bad for a first, you know, different angle.
Yeah, I'd take that now.
I love this. That's the challenge, you see. I've got a bit of this, you know. So I dropped everything else and then obviously went on the sporting circuit. And Charlie Dawson, who is a butcher in Selby. Well, Charlie Dawson, he was a hell of a shot with Charlie in his day. Big Olympic trap shot, good Olympic trap shot as well, but a good sporting shot. And I turned up at his shop one day, at the butcher's shop. I stood there waiting in the queue, like, and he's doing his serving and everything. When everyone, I said, "Are you Charlie Dawson?" Yeah. I said, "I've been told that you're one of the best shots around here." "Well, not bad." I said, "I want to go with you to learn this sporting shoot." And I said that was as simple as that. And then every week, he said, "Well, I don't really go much now." I said, "Well, you're going now." I said, "Because I want you to, you know,
Tell you where you're going wrong.
Because I've never had a lesson in my life.
Have you not?
I just
You
wanted to
wanted
go
watch
with
and
somebody
see how we did it.
and see what,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Because he knew all the angles with Charlie, because he were a sandbagger with Charlie, but he were a hell of a shot. And the first competition I ever went
A
with Charlie,
sandbagger.
he was a sandbagger. He'll not know what a sandbagger is.
No, explain to the audience. Never mind just me.
A sandbagger is somebody that artificially shoots a lower score than what he can do, really, to get in a lower class. So he can win the prizes.
And then win the prizes.
Right.
So anyway, I went to...
We could name a few.
Yeah, we can, yeah. Went to 3 or 4 shoots with Charlie and really enjoyed the outings that we had with him. Of course, he was typical sandbagger, great shot in his day, and it's sort of been B class or A class or something like that. But I was in double A
Straight away.
I was not in sporting. I was in double A, in
ABT.
not ABT, but also
DTL.
bloody DTL. And
Yeah.
this is where I cocked up. Because if you remember when Express Cartridge first come out, Mumtaz, who created Express Cartridge,
Yeah.
he put a £30,000 prize money up. You'll not remember, will
I
you?
won't know.
This is going back it's got to be 20 years ago, maybe 25 years ago, as I said, when I first started sporting shooting. Paul Chaplow he were there. He were same lad who he won a prize on the same day. Paul, I remember it. Anyway, long story short, me and Charlie travelled down to this. Is it not Ezerville? Carl Bloxham were a big shooter there. I don't think the shoot exists now.
Not Trentham Gardens.
No,
or
it
anything
was.
like
It were
that.
round. It were in the Midlands.
Right.
Big ground in its day. But I think it's shut. It's actually closed now. Well, I just can't remember where it was. Anyway, because it were a big trap shot and double trap shot place as well. And it were all set up there. And they called it the club championship or something like that. So there were two classes to go into: the club class or the professionals. Well, I were in the professional class because I were in double A at bloody DTL. I finished up in the professional class. Charlie's in the club class. 30 years experience, double trap shot, everything. Could shoot anything, you know. And he won. I think he won £4,000. I won 40 quid. So on the way home, he's got this. And if Mum just came out with a bag of money and paid everybody out in cash. Digby were there. It's like called John Grass. I think he comes third at four because he was a big trap shooter with John Grass. Hell of a shot. Anyway, Paul Chaplow won 2 or 3 grand. Anyway, on our way home, and then I'm there with 40 quid in professional class up against Digweed and all them. And first time I'd ever drop on George Digweed that day. And Charlie there bragging away. Well, I do feel grand, you know. I said, if you're not sure, I'll take that off you in a minute, that 4 grand. I said, we'll split it down middle, because aren't we supposed to be partners? Oh, no, we were never partners when it comes to sharing money up. Only partners in fuel bills.
So then you've got to look, you've got a complete bug for it, and then you've obviously gone and done some wonderful things, and like we said, you shot for GB.
The one thing about clay shooting, Rob, it's the finest thing on earth to bring youngsters into.
Yeah.
You know, because it leads to game shooting and other things. Yes. And that's what happened to me. You know, once you've got a few clays, and then you think, well, I've got some sort of natural talent to it, which I think I had, you know. And I got the book straight away. You know, I couldn't wait to get out. As I say, you've seen the photographs, I was training at the time. I had to pack in training.
Yeah, bodybuilding, were you?
Well, yeah, I packed in training. At 40-year-old, that's when I sort of started clay shooting. But that's the photo I showed you, is when I was 40.
We'll have to put that up on the...
Yeah, we'll pop it up on the screen, Charlie.
We'll pop it up.
Dave Carrie in
You want to put it
fighting.
on now? No, you can't do that. Anyway, at 40 year old, I was a big guy. You know, I trained 6 days a week then, and very strong. But I got the love for clay shooting overtook that, and I tell you, I couldn't clay shoot properly because I used to. And I tell you how I found out. I went on a little driven day, a simulated day, and my arms were pumping up that much I couldn't outgun. So I packed in straight away because it were affecting my clay shooting.
Well, you were too big.
I was too big. As soon as I started, you know, being busy with gun, which you can do on a simulator.
Yeah,
that's what found it out straight away.
You get a pump.
I got pumped up straight away, and I could hardly.
Because your muscles were so big.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had the same problem.
I mean, I was that big at the time. I couldn't even comb my hair.
I've never had that problem.
But I'll tell you. Anyway, I think you get the bug and go on from there. Thought, what's next?
So you gave up bodybuilding, but come on, let's just touch on the bodybuilding bit. When did you start?
I started.
I mean, we'll pop the pictures
12,
up. You'll see now what he used to look like. I mean, you were a machine.
Well,
unbelievable.
I was training when I was 12, 14 years old, but I used to do. I mean, there was nothing for us to do. You know, we went to a place called Dorothy Harmon Stadiums. Dorothy Harmon were an Olympic gold medalist in a day. You're probably too old for you.
Yeah.
You know, I'm
too old for me.
I'm 66
Definitely
years
too
old.
old for me.
Yeah. 45.
45. So there's
28.
20 or 30 years difference
12.
in us all, you see.
12 over there, yeah.
A lot of people, as I said, Dorothy were an Olympic champion in a day, and they named the stadium after her. And we used to go to a gym there. They built a gym there for poor people, which were us. And it cost us nothing to train there, and that's how I got into training, 12, 14-year-old. And it was a race track as well, a sports track. So I used to do an hour's training, half an hour's boxing training, do a bit of jogging with boxers, and I used to do that 3 or 4 times a week, and then I gradually progressed into 6 days a week. And then I become quite competitive with that. And
did you compete at bodybuilding, or did you
I
just...
competed there. That was the North East Britain, which I was 18-year-old then. So I think I come second or third. I don't know. I might even won it. I can't remember. Anyway, I got a buy to go to the Britain final, which was another 9 months. So we got 9 months to train for Britain. You see. Unfortunately, I got locked up 2 days before the Britain final. They wouldn't let me out. I was doing my exercise in the police cell, but they wouldn't release me. So they knew what they were doing.
What for?
So I trained 9 solid months, and then 2 days before, I got locked up for a misdemeanor.
What had you been doing?
A bit of fighting.
And you said you did a bit of boxing training. Did you ever have any boxing matches? Or
I couldn't. No, they won't let me box. I lost my eye when I was 11-year-old, so I could never have any.
I was going to ask about that. How did you lose your eye?
Got shot when I was 11-year-old.
Oh,
and that's
silly me.
Well,
Why didn't?
with an air rifle, is that right?
Yeah.
You were in a park, is that right?
Yeah, we're on the green at back of our terrace houses. We were always used to play games, whatever. We were playing football, and it hit one or two of us. Hit one or two in the backside. So we all run at what we call dustbin hole, where they used to keep out dustbins, and we got it back of that out that way. Of course, I put my head round to see if it'd gone, and got one in the eyeball, which it nearly killed me. So that's they couldn't operate outside. They had to take my eyeball out to get the pellet out. You see, so I was lucky, like, because it was just nearly on my brain. It might have been on my brain because I'm not that clever.
Just
anyway.
shows how dangerous they are, doesn't it?
And what was it like? Was that 2-2?
I can't remember. I don't know what it was. I was 11-year-old. But it's all right saying they were dangerous at the time. We used to run about with spud guns and dart guns, and we used to get them. We used to get them darts with steel points and which thing. We used to chase one of them, and we used to wear donkey jackets then. And we used to get a little 177. Whoever were on had got the rifle, you see, or the pistol, and we used to chase one another.
Rock, paper, scissors for the best weapon.
Listen, if you got a dart in your back, you had to bend over because you got a 177 air rifle pellet on your ass. Listen,
just good sport, Dave.
Listen, we're either trying to kill one another with a bow and arrow, or a catapult, or an air rifle. That was normal to us when we were kids.
All good fun until you lose your eye.
We had nothing else to do.
No.
We weren't sat there behind computer. We're out playing games. We weren't allowed it out till it was dark, you know.
They didn't want you in the house.
They didn't want us in the house, you see.
Yeah.
There were out to eat when we went to the house anyway. We were out robbing and, trying to get trying to get a few things to eat, you know. Robbing farm to allotments for veggie and bloody eggs.
And so, Dave, you fantastic story.
Yeah.
Start shooting at 14 to your clays, you get into the game shooting, and then you now become, a YouTube sensation in a lot of ways. Me growing up, I was watching all your content. You were probably one of the first people to really photograph and video shooting and put it on YouTube. What made you do that? And talk to us a bit about the success of that and, millions of views.
Well, I really wanted to put game shooting out there, and I think, can I call it the old school? I don't think they've done enough to promote game shooting in a good way, And I thought, well, how
a lot of people want it to be like a hidden secret, don't they?
Yeah, and I know people will berate me for this, and it's usually the lads who barely have enough shooting, game shooting, and all. My idea is to get as many overseas people over here shooting our game, and promoting our game, because I think that is the way to keep it. You know, the more people we get from overseas, it's called revenue, right?
Just put that a bit closer.
Yeah.
I might feel uncomfortable.
I can't see it anyway. I'm blind at that side, Rob. It's called revenue, and it's export revenue. And when you think we've got the finest sport on earth, there's no other country got what we've got. That's been built over 300 or 400 years, you know, by keepers, land managers, farmers, or whatever, and it's brilliant. If all this goes, I think it's going to be the biggest loss this country will ever see.
Oh, for the countryside.
I think for you know, for mental stability. I mean, what's finer than taking kids out into the wilderness, you know, sat there with a fishing rod in their hand, or sat there waiting for a duck or something with a 28 bore. You know, I can't think of anything better to bring for bringing kids up is in the countryside. I don't know a better situation. I don't think it's sat in front of a TV or sat in front of a computer. I think it's, for me, it's
on face ache.
On face ache. I think, you know, bringing kids up, I think they need to experience what we experience as youngsters.
Yeah,
you know, the wildlife and everything. We knew when we were kids. We knew every bird song, every bird's nest, where they nested. I could tell you what. Even today, I could tell you what eggs they are. You know, and we can't bird nest now, can you? But we always took. If we found a nest, we'd take an egg. I won't take them all. We'd take an egg. Just take an egg because we knew, you know, that was the right thing to do. We go bird nesting for eggs to eat as well. Cook's eggs, water hen's eggs, goose eggs, swan's eggs. If it was swans, we'd take them as well. You know, we wouldn't take them all. We'd leave something there to breed. You know, and I think that's for me, it's the finest upbringing children can have today. Is the countryside.
And how did you? So you've become this pretty impressive shot very at later age, but you've become very good very quickly. How did you get into game shooting? Where did the? Because for a guy like you, you know, running your scrap business, and it's a blooming successful one, and it's a hell of a business now, and it's not just scrap; it's waste and everything.
Yeah.
And, you know, how did you get into game shooting? Because it must have been quite a daunting step for you to get into that.
It's all the scrap business really that I got into game shooting, because a chap who owned a big lorry fleet, he came into my yard one day looking for some plate to make a trailer. We used to have contract for shipyard, which you know, inch thick plate, and he wanted it to strengthen a trailer up. And I can't remember how the conversation started, but I remember him being dressed when he came to see me. He was dressed in shooting gear, but clay shooting gear. Yeah. So I said, I do a bit of clay shooting. Then we got talking about shooting. Well, I said, I've got my own little shoot, only 10 mile away from where I lived. Only a little flatbird shoot. He said, yeah, I'll invite you, come along. And that's all it was, a flatbird shoot. I didn't know any difference then. That was the first shoot I ever went on. And honestly, the birds wouldn't be any higher than this ceiling here.
Yeah, that's how I like them.
Yeah, I know that's how you all go. But that was the first experience of game shooting, and it were only a sort of a walk around 50 bird job, you know, and I shot a couple of birds. It's the same thing. You get the bug for it, don't you? See, and then you get in that circle where you find out, you know, who's going on the good shoots, the good game shoots, and then I found a little shoot. I think you'll know the shoot, Denton Park.
Yeah. Yeah,
that was the first formal game show that I ever went on with a pal of mine called McCarris. And they're two good drives, fantastic drives, and the rest of it, you know, were farm stock, if you know what I mean. But there were two good drives there, and that's what I always wanted. When I shot these drives, I thought, this is what I want. I want to shoot this good stuff all the time, you see. So then you expand yourself and go looking for, you know, better and better, like clay shooting.
Yeah,
you want a challenge.
You challenge yourself.
Better challenge, you see, and that's what it is. But going back to when I started competition, everything become a challenge to me. You know, we progress from sporting then to fitness.
Yeah,
this is where you want to be, fitness. You know, so I progressed onto that, I soon got in the England team pretty soon, become England captain, and then they want to get in at the time, as you know, Robert. Well, the GB Fithouse team 15 years ago.
Oh, it was a
well,
fun
they
one.
had it was a phenomenal team to get into. If you could, that was the equivalent of getting into the Masters golf team.
Yeah.
That's what the equivalent then in them days,
yeah.
you know. And you got the likes of, you know, Martin Elworth, Sean Bramley, all fantastic shots, you know. I thought, how do we get into as good as these lads? But you only get as good as them by competing. And so you've got to do the what they call it shoots. And I think within 2 or 3 years, I've managed to get a place in the GB shoot, but I didn't actually go in the first one. It was poor old Bruce Folds. He's dead now. God love him. Lovely, absolute lovely fella. And it was Bruce Folds when I actually achieved a place the next season. Dave, he was the manager then with Bruce. I said, no, I'm not bothered about it. And I wasn't bothered at the time about being in it because I was too busy. And they said, oh, you've got to go to America, you've got to go there, you know. I said, no, I'm too busy for that. And I couldn't really leave the yard at the time. We're still building it up, you see. Anyway, he persuaded me to take my place and go in the GB team. And we won a gold at the Europeans. Then we come second or third at the Americans, at the Worlds, and then I won after that I won the World Veterans anyway. Yeah. But also before then I'd won the British Fithouse, the English Fithouse. So I'd won the domestics anyway. Which all the British and the English were always hard to.
I was going to say they weren't exactly easy, were they?
Weren't easy.
They were as hard as winning a world championship.
You know, you were still up against such as Falls and Sean and I mean even French contingent used to come over and shoot the British Fithouse. You know, you got some fantastic shots there. And I come second and third a couple of times before I won the British. I finally did it at Newnham Park, which is it closed now, isn't it, Newnham Park, which was a fantastic ground. And then, obviously, my love for game shooting has got stronger and stronger.
And you were doing that as well through the winter?
Doing that through the winter, you see. I think game shooting is something, as I said before, you can carry on until into your older age. You know, you can go into 70. I mean, we come across, you'll come across them on the moor. 70, 80-year-old that can still bloody shoot. You know.
Some of them are still beating across the moor at that age.
Well, look at Sturzaker. He's a prime example. He's not the fittest of man now, you know, but he can still bloody shoot when he gets that gun in his hand.
Well, look at John Bidwell.
John Bidwell, still a fantastic, phenomenal shot.
Yeah.
And I mean, John will not be far off his 80s now.
Is that right?
I think it probably is 80 now. Is John?
I mean, he's a brilliant shot.
Yeah, brilliant shot. You know,
and
Paddy Allen, all them out shot.
And let's just focus on your game shooting because I mean you absolutely love it now, and you go around the country shooting all these amazing shoots and everything, and you're filming them, and you know. Tell us, here's a question for you, because everybody sees you shooting these high birds and making it look very easy. How many times do you cut it and just filter out all the ones you miss and then just put in the ones you hit?
well, they all ask that, Rob.
Don't you punch me.
Hey, we do miss, it's as simple as that. But I don't miss as much as other people. That's how I'll put it.
That's fair enough.
I don't miss.
I've seen it firsthand. He's not wrong. Yeah. But Dave, what made you want to do YouTube? You know, what was that first film idea, and why did you go down that route?
Jonathan, it was a great filmmaker, is Jonathan, and he approached me because he couldn't actually get into the estates. Yeah. And I'd just got into Duncan Park at the time, which were dead men's shows at the time.
Amazing.
You know, he couldn't get into these shows. Anyway, I got in with the team there. And he said, do you think how can I get into these estates? I said, come with me if you want. I said, you know, I'm not bothered what they'll say. I said, don't worry about it. And that's the first thing they say when he turned up with camera. What's going off here? I said, I paid $2,500 to be here. I said, and he's filming me. So what's the problem with you? So he couldn't really go on from there, you see. So I actually broke the door down, if you know what I mean. So, anyway. That was the first gut film, was Duncan Park.
Park, yeah. It's a phenomenal.
And then-
Have you shot Duncan Park?
No.
Phenomenal.
I've
Phenomenal.
sent winners
It's
there,
a
but
brilliant shoot.
But
I love it.
you'll know with
You have to
grouse
take me, Rob.
shooting, you couldn't, there'd nobody let you film grouse
No,
shooting, you know.
no.
And I always thought, we've got to go grouse shooting as well, because we always get that back press. And they throw stones at grouse shooting especially, but people don't know from outside of shooting, this is where we should be preaching, they don't know the makeup of a grouse mower. They don't know the work behind a grouse mower, and they don't know the conservation behind a grouse mower. So somebody's got to show all this. You know, for every bad story, there's plenty of good stories in shooting.
yeah, without a doubt.
Conservation is one of them. And I once said to a Scottish keeper I'd done a film for in the Highlands, and he were quite worried about his job, and he got 3 or 4 youngsters. He said, my oldest was wanting to go into gamekeeping. I don't know what to do with him. This is how the likes of Packham and Wild Justice have got these keepers thinking,
Fear.
you see.
Yeah.
To them, to Wild Justice and everything, a keeper is a terrorist. To me, he's a policeman. He's the one that looks after the countryside, along with land managers, farmers, you know. But they all get berated, even though they're producing a good edible food, a fantastic food, wild food, you know. They get berated all the time. I thought, we've got to stop this. And I said to that keeper, I said, if you look up, there were 5 buzzards up here circling us at the time when we finished shooting at this estate. I was filming it. I said, one thing about if they stop all these shooting estates, these will vanish. I said, why do you think there's so many? I said, if it was in the wild, total wild, I said, you'd see an odd one now and again. I said, if you go to Water Pride, you'll see 80 in a tree.
Yeah,
That's
literally.
down to game shooting. If the dogmen, it's very rarely, but if the dogmen don't pick things up, don't pick the wounded up, these things, they relish them. And the keepers do leave a bit of wounded stuff. You know, something's just been killed, or they found it in the edge the next day, it's dead. They'll leave it out on the table for the buzzards and the kites. I said, that's why you've got so many. I said, so if Packham wants to close shooting down, he's got to be prepared to see these vanish. I said, that's what'll happen. Because this is the shooting estates are the biggest bird table in the country, in the world. I'll tell you now, especially our shooting estates in this country. They're the biggest bird table in the world. And that's how most of the stuff survives.
Yeah. And how many videos have you done now, Dave? Do you know?
We're knocking up over 100 now.
How many views? Do you know the views?
Yes, it's about 8 to 9 million, isn't it?
It's a lot of people.
A
That.
few million. I mean,
And what are people enjoying about them, Dave? Are they enjoying your?
I think they're
seeing
a
you,
lot of
watching you shoot and seeing the shoots and the different places you go and the, you know, what is it that?
there's 3 or
makes
4
them
different characters. Where
Yeah.
you get some that like to get. They like to get up my battle and see what I'm doing with the gun.
Yeah.
Then you've got the overseas who'll just love that countryside.
Yeah.
And they'll say, Dave, please don't ever let this die.
Yeah.
This, you know,
The Americans love your
Americans
videos.
love it. You know, and that's
Well,
why
they get to see our world, don't they?
Yeah.
You know,
Rob, I mean, even Packham and the Antis, I can't see them being so foolish as to let everything go in the countryside.
No.
You know, and I say to farmers. I mean, I see a lot of farmers, and they all come and have a chat with me. You see, and they say we're getting hammered with bloody. You know, they're trying to stop us rearing beef, trying to stop us rearing chickens. You know, I said, well, they'll try and stop you rearing everything, even grass. I said, they're just not bothered. I said, they've got some sort of quest to stop everything in the countryside. I said, you really are the key, is the farmer. That's what you want to do. I said, is just produce food for the country folk and tell all these aunties, you know, go and find it somewhere else. Just don't produce anything for 12 months. I said, that government and all the aunties, they'll be begging and praying for you to open to start producing again within a month. Because when that belly starts rumbling, right, they'll eat a dead cat then, I'll tell you now. No matter what it is an auntie what, he'll eat a dead cat when he's hungry. I said, and that's the key, hunger.
Where would he get a dead cat from, though, Dave?
I can't go into that.
Don't get him talking.
I'm not
about
a cat lover. I'm not a cat lover.
I like a cat.
Yeah, there's a lot of
And what about, look, I think a lot of people would want to know because, you've been to so many places. We know your love of Water Priory, so let's sort of exclude that one because we know how much you love going there, and Frank does a brilliant job, and the whole team do. But what about where else have you been that you think is very special and, excluding Water Priory because we know you love water.
What's one of the favourite videos you've done at a place?
I think the cow roast videos and the cow roast itself, when David Craven owned it, I know it's under new ownership now. I'm not saying anything wrong about the new ownership because they only had it a season. Yeah, it still went quite well. But I think it was special because it was sort of select his friends, if you know what I mean. It was sort of invite only type of thing. But obviously, it'll open up now to anybody that wants to go, that wants to pay and go, and they will experience a beautiful shoot. Lovely hanging woods off those Scottish hillsides. Yeah. Short distances to fly, with another hanging wood, and the birds to
just take it on, and they're just
but birds that's killable. Yeah, it's in range. We're all doing something different. You've got to know where to put the gun, and also you've got to know what payload to put into them. Yeah, which we'll discuss later.
Yeah. Well, let's come on to that because I think that's you put a huge amount of work. I don't know, a lot of people might not know, but the amount of effort and time you work with Game Ball, putting in cartridges and looking at new loads and, patterns, the whole thing. And now you're doing an awful lot, dare I say, steel shot or non-toxic shot. Talk to us about your views on all this.
Well, we've got to mention Water Priory because Water Priory is usually the first
pioneer,
the first estate of the pioneers to go into anything. And people say, well, why we're going down that non-toxic load? Don't say steel because you can use. There's a number of.
I agree with you.
There's a number of options what you can use, and we've got a few here, right? And Game Ball in there.
We're not used to this, Rob, are we?
Right?
A guest that's come prepared.
Well, he's brought his fake army.
I knew
and some cartridges.
I knew this would crop up. It always does. Wherever I go. Steel shot always gets a mention, non-toxic shot. And I think we've got to look at the inevitable, which is going to turn up. It's going to happen because people say, well, I'll keep shooting while I can't shoot lead no more, and that's it when I've done then. But obviously, if you're still passionate about shooting, the thing is this is to try alternatives. Yeah. And don't go on sulking. And that, because I was like that at first, and I said to Frank, I said, well, going on to steel, I don't think I'll be going much. And I missed a fair few. I missed half a season really because I dug my heels in and I started going other places and without really giving the alternative
a chance. Yeah.
And then, but I knew Game Ball would come up with something. And in steel, which is still quite affordable for the game shooter, they've got a lovely 32 gram 4, but they've got a fantastic 35 gram 3, and that's what I use.
Steel.
Yeah, steel at Water Priory. Yeah. But we know there's alternatives, Rob.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about them. But we're talking rich man's, wealthy man's
bucket,
if you
is needed for these.
Tungsten. Is
quite
it?
Interesting. Yeah. Well,
and we've got this is a comparison that we've got here. I haven't actually fetched in this to you.
Can you see it?
But what we've got here is, that's our lead. And the only comparison I could make was actually fill these clear cases up to the exact same line, so the exact same quantity. So I haven't weighed them. I have weighed them, I didn't weigh them out at a certain grammage. I just put these in.
To the exact same level.
Yeah. With different non-toxic materials. Now what you've got lead number 3, right? And that lead number 3, there's 84 grams there, right? Then we've got bismuth, which is a 2.5 actually.
Dave, you're just speaking to your mic, please. Sorry. You might just have to say that again. Yeah. So you've got lead number 3.
Yeah. Do you want me to start again with that?
No, you're good.
Right. We've got lead number 3 in this one. Right. They're all
which is 85 grams, is it?
That's 84 grams.
Yeah.
They're all filled up to the same level. Then we've got bismuth, which is 75 grams to the same level. So we know it's a bit lighter than lead.
Yeah. So
That's the comparison. Then we've got the TSS, which is tungsten special shot, which everybody raves about, and it's only a number 7, right? It's filled to the same level, and that's 130 grams in there. So we can see the density.
Wow.
So you've got lead is, there's another 50% weight
in that
ratio
tungsten,
in that.
yeah.
There's another maybe 60%
And
weight ratio to bismuth.
Yeah, and you haven't got a steel there, but roughly steel. If bismuth is 78, did you say? If you filled one of them up with steel,
Well, you compare lead with steel. So if you put this, you fill the steel shot to a number 3 at the same height, yeah, you'll be talking, I would think,
65.
65 grams.
Yeah.
Maybe 60 grams.
Yeah.
So there's a massive difference in
Yeah.
weight, especially when you go to the tungsten shot. It's twice heavier.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But the
2.5
big
times
big issue we've all got is the price of this, or is
Well, the price of that, the tungsten is in this country. Somebody will be selling it now for, I would think, £65-75 per kilo.
What does that work out per cartridge?
Whereas lead is £3 a kilo.
Oh, wow.
yeah.
But
Wow.
the thing is with that, if you most of them shooting it through a 410 or a 28 bore, right? And the tungsten, no, the lads who are doing a lot of competition with it, practice with it, are actually loading between 14 and 16 grams of 8s and 9s in a 410, which is capable of killing 75-yard pheasants.
Jesus Christ! Have you shot it?
Yeah.
Like a small cartridge like that?
I've shot it on game.
Yeah.
But I had an experience with it. I did a 410 film for Notch Winton Estate. What's the other estate?
Give us a clue, Dave.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, there's a few.
You went on the grouse day that I was poorly on what I paid for. Yeah.
Bolton.
Do you remember when you poisoned me?
The 60th.
Yeah, somebody gave me full point. I bought a grouse day.
I tell you-
invited everybody. The only man that couldn't go, I nearly died.
He couldn't go on his own birthday shoot.
Kev Jobley, my best pal, I had a meal at his place, and it was venison, and I swear blind, he poisoned me. I was that ill the next day.
I think Kev will admit it one day.
He definitely will.
We
These are the fantastic
We did have a brilliant day.
Near drop shot. He shot fantastic, did Rob.
And we got it on
believe so.
film, which is a miracle. Do you remember we got it on
He
film?
we got it on film, but he did shoot well. I sent my camera with him, Johnny, and he did shoot well.
We had a
They
laugh.
were in it all day as well.
It was a phenomenal
I was
day.
still in the shower room, hiking up all day. Yeah. Anyway,
So these...
so people have been experimenting, as I say, with 410s and 28 bores. I took a 410 load made by somebody else on a 410 film that I was doing. The place that you were grouse shooting.
Bolton.
Right. And I shot normal game bore. They do a 16 gram 5 wad. Fantastic little cartridge. Kill some lovely birds with it. You see them on film. And on the last peg, in fact, Ollie was there. Ollie was picking up. I don't know if he must have gone now. But Ollie, my loader, he was actually picking up on that day. And I said to Ollie, I said, I'm going to put these 14 grams of number 9 shot on these birds. I'm not going to shoot them any further away than what I was shooting with the normal 410 loads. And the first, I had 6 shots and never touched a feather. What the hell's going off here? So went back to game bore, put the game bore 410s back in, killed the first 2 birds out. So I knew it wasn't me. What the hell's going on? I've still got 4 left of these 10 that he gave me. Anyway, I wouldn't shoot them. On the way home, and I'd patterned this number 9 shot at 65 yard. And every pellet was in that 13 circle. It destroyed me. This was number 9 shot out of this TSS. It destroyed the what they call it, disc that I have for a marker board. And anyway, the lad who made him run me on the way home. He says, "How you going on?" I says, "Crap." "What do you mean?" I said, "Never hit a bird with them." I said, "It wasn't me, because I went back to what so-and-so to game ball, not a problem." And I'm going back. I've got 4 left. I'm going to pattern them at 35 yard where I patterned the game ball ones. And it was a lovely pattern with the game ball, because I patterned before I went to the did the shoot. Patterned them at 35 yard. Well, you think somebody had shot a 4 ball at it. It was just an hole like that. And it had tried to get I pattern on a 1/2 inch thick. It weighs nearly 1/2 ton, this plate.
Yeah, I've seen it right in the middle of the yard, aiming at a building.
It's that thick, right?
It's honestly hilarious.
It's that thick, right? It weighs nearly 1/2 ton, so it ain't going to go anywhere. These things that try to get through it at back, I thought, bloody hell, fire. So the pattern was that tight at 35. You'd no chance of hitting anything, unless you were aiming at a static target, So I was back to the drawing. I've never shot them since then, but people rave on about them, and I've no doubt at 70, 80 yard, 90 yard away, they are killing what they say they're killing. The people are shooting ducks with number 8 and 9 shot, and that's number 7 shot. So
I mean, look at the amount of I know.
Yeah.
But the problem is the price.
The price is the problem,
and that's going to curtail probably 95% of the market, or that's maybe an exaggeration, but it'll curtail 80% of the market from shooting them, won't it?
Yeah. But you're a grouse man, Rob. Would you consider shooting at grouse in a safety aspect as well as a killing aspect? Let's go as a safety aspect. Let's look at that.
Well, the problem's going to be is what load are you going to shoot, because they're blooming heavy, aren't they?
Well, I think, I mean.
And people aren't going to shoot 28 balls and 4 10s. They're going to want to shoot 12 balls, aren't they?
People are not going to like what I'm saying, but I wouldn't allow on a grouse more.
Exactly.
And I'll tell you for why. A number 8 or 9 shot of that, and somebody got hit with one of them at 40 yard, it'd penetrate the skull.
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
So I wouldn't. And a number 7 shot. So I wouldn't be happy shooting.
Well, most grouse moors now it's an ounce load. You see, that's the whole point of it.
Yeah,
30 gram maximum.
If they can afford to shoot grouse, then they can afford to shoot bismuth.
Yeah,
that is the answer.
Yeah,
plus steel. Steel, good steel shot, and the likes of that. That 35 gram free, and the kids, it's a number 3. It didn't really. It's a number 5 or a number 6, isn't it? Really.
Yeah,
so,
it's come down to 2 shot sizes, really.
Yeah. So you still with the steel, the good steel cartridges that we've got now, they've come on leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
And the bismuth, I think
I've never shot a lot of steel. I mean, I've shot steel, but I'm look, it's what it is. But I've never shot them consistently on the high stuff, like at water, like you have. What I've never been on a day where I've just had to shoot steel all day. What's it like? I mean, water seemed to have got on very fine with it.
Yeah, I've shot some fantastic birds with them, but you're always conscious. I would say I won't go to brigands with it.
No.
Right, and I think you've got to pick your birds anyway. I mean, you miss birds at brigands with lead. You know, it's as simple as that. So
I shot full steel day with you, Dave, at the start of this season at Water Priory with game ball. Do you remember? And I was obviously sceptical, thinking, God, how am I going to get on? And I was absolutely fine. It honestly, fine.
I think with it
really shocked me.
Yeah.
You just missed as many as normal.
I think with the number 4 for partridge.
It's getting boring now.
the number 4 shot on partridge covers a good bird, but the number 3 shot covers both aspects, a high partridge and a high pheasant. I've killed some fantastic birds with them. I think you've got to be conscious. I mean, even with lead, I don't like taking what I call narrow cockbirds on. That sort of, they take some bloody taking down with lead anyway.
Yeah.
So I think if it's showing its undercarriage and showing, plenty of fat, I think you've got a chance even with that number 3 steel.
Good for you.
And on a high shoot now, Dave, with lead, I know everybody will be interested in this. What's your go-to cartridge?
My go-to cartridge is always game ball components, of course, but I I used to use the
56 gram too.
I used to use the buffaloes 42 gram threes, but you can still use.
Look at that face.
You can still use them in Wales, but obviously you go to a lot of places now.
Buffaloes, did you say? 42 gram threes.
42 gram threes.
And that's why
worse.
That's why he worked out with all and got that beef on his shoulder to be able to handle them.
Because you need to be the size of him to shoot that.
I'd rather put 2 or 3 big pellets into a bird than 5 or 6 little ones.
Dave, what about these? What about these wads? What about the eco wad and everything? The Game Boar have done
fantastic. Yeah, I mean, you've got to take your hat off to Game Boar with the work they've done in producing this so quickly, and it's a lot of
because it's really made a difference to the car. I mean, we've had them in our Hellfires, and we did a 33 gram 3 with them, and they were absolutely phenomenal. I mean, people shot them, just went, I can't believe how good these. I mean, I saw a guy called Gary Shaw. He's a great shot, but I saw him shoot them at Merton.
Killing fantastic birds.
Oh my! It was just it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, it was truly Dave Kempley shot them. I mean, and he's a good shot.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
shot.
And they were. It was just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic seeing what they could do with them.
I think the only complaint you'll get is with the dirtiness in the battles, and obviously
multi chokes and
look, we've got ourselves into a bit of a conundrum with game shooting, because we tried to go to single use. We're on single use plastics. And we try to get rid of them.
Yeah.
At the same time, we're trying to get rid of lead.
Yeah.
And lead and plastic, or going to non-toxic, going to steel, you need a plastic wad.
You need to have
very quickly they've had to develop.
Well, you need
something.
a full cup.
You need a full cup. So very quickly they've had to develop a bloody plastic wad substitute so they can shoot a decent steel shot. I've no doubt with the smaller the steel shot, it less damage is going to do to your battles. But when you start using 4s and 3s, some people are using 2s.
Yeah, that's where you get
stuff, the damage. And you certainly can't use this stuff, the TSS. You can't use the tungstens because it'll just scrape all your battles away.
We've got a client who shoots pure tungsten. They're £5 a cartridge, £5,000 a 1,000.
Unbelievable.
Well, they are. The wealthy man. They're a wealthy man's.
You'd be picking. You'd be picking your birds.
You need to be a very successful scrap metal merchant.
That's right.
Environmentalist business if you to shoot them. You're not going to be doing like you or I. You'll
not find any piles of that in my year, but you'll find about 600 or 700 ton of lead in it. So I'm getting ready for the ban.
Yeah.
Well done.
Third World War.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's been a very, very good episode. And I do also think, Robert and Dave, you'll agree, we could sit here for about 3 more hours.
This is the problem. I think we've got about 30 other things on our list. But Dave, you're an absolute star, mate. And well done for your promotion into the sport and doing all you can. And I know people all around the world will love listening to you and will listen to this as well. And just a big thank you from Sam and I. And you're an absolute star. And we appreciate all you do and your support and everything. So,
well, thanks for having us.
Well, mate, you're an absolute pleasure.
It's always lovely to see you two.
I think we'll have to do part 2, aren't we?
I think we'll have to do a part 2. Part 1 with Dave Carrie.
We'll do another one, no problem at all.
Well done.
DC, you're a legend. Hope everybody enjoyed listening. Sorry, go on, Dave.
Well, thank you very much, and hopefully we see more and more youngsters coming into the. We forgot to get onto that.
I know. We'll have to do
we
part
need
2.
And thanks for the promotion you've done and helping us out with kids on pegs and stuff like that.
No, it's my pleasure.
The only thing I'd just like to finish on, it's still a shame that we don't see many estates offering days up for little kids.
Yeah.
To protect our sport.
Yeah, and we need to do as much as we can to get.
If every estate put a free day on for kids, and it's not a lot to ask, 50 bird or something like that. If every shooting estate put a 50 bird on for kids, I think you'd see more and more coming into it. But I'll leave that with the shooting industry.
Well done, Dave.
Something to think about.
Yeah.
Great episode once again. Thanks, Dave, very much for coming on. And hope everybody enjoyed listening to it and watching it. If you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and like. New episodes every Sunday at 1 p.m.
Well done, Sammy.
Thanks, boys.
Thanks, everyone.
We'll see you again in the next one.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.